Imagine waking up in the year 2050, walking into a subterranean concrete garage, and finding the ultimate cinematic villain's getaway vehicle waiting for you. That is exactly the kind of energy we are dealing with today. Welcome back to Crownline Reviews, the channel where we get behind the wheel of the most fascinating, conversation-starting machines on the planet. Today, we are not just looking at a pickup truck, we're looking at a rolling, street-legal stealth bomber. This is the 2026 RNG wide-body Tesla Cybertruck, and it might just be the most aggressive, neck-snapping, unapologetic vehicle on the road right now. Let us start with the most obvious and striking visual change from the factory model. Gone is the bare, refrigerator-like stainless steel that we have all grown so accustomed to seeing on the streets. Instead, this entire massive geometric shape has been wrapped in a deep, mirror-like gloss black. Look at how the overhead lights in this warehouse reflect off the massive hood and the sharp, angular lines of the roof. It completely transforms the personality of the truck from a quirky tech bro accessory into something that looks like it belongs in a Batman movie. It is dark, it is brooding, and it absorbs the light around it in a way that makes the truck look even more imposing than it already is. But the color is only the beginning of the story here. The real magic, the reason you simply cannot take your eyes off this thing, is the RNG widebody kit. Look at those massive, flared wheel arches that extend way past the original flat body lines. They give the Cybertruck a broad, muscular shoulder line that the factory version desperately needed. The original design always looked a bit slab-sided, like a triangle drawn by a child, but these RNG fenders add depth, shadow, and a sense of planted stability. It looks less like a spaceship and more like a heavily armored military transport vehicle ready for urban combat. Moving around to the front, the aggression gets dialed up to an absolute 11. RNG has added a custom lower front bumper and a pronounced front splitter that brings the nose of the truck dangerously close to the pavement. It completely changes the aerodynamic profile, giving it a heavy chin that looks ready to scoop up anything in its path. And then you have that signature continuous white LED light bar stretching across the entire front fascia. Against the pitch black bodywork, that light bar looks like the glowing visor of a sci-fi robot. Below that, tucked into the new bumper, are additional LED driving lights that cut through the darkness and add to that menacing nighttime presence. You cannot talk about a widebody kit without talking about the shoes, and this truck is wearing some absolute monsters. Look at these massive, multi-spoke black alloy wheels featuring the RNG center caps. They are intricate, aggressive, and perfectly matched to the sharp, angular theme of the truck. But what really sets the stance off are the tires. These are not your standard, eco-friendly, low-rolling resistance EV tires. These are chunky, aggressive off-road tires with deep treads that look like they could chew through mud, snow, and gravel without breaking a sweat. Combined with a significantly lowered suspension, the truck sits with a predatory crouch that is simply mesmerizing. To really appreciate what RNG has done here, we have to take a quick trip down memory lane. Think back to 2019 when the original Cybertruck was first unveiled to the world. It shocked everyone. It broke the internet, and famously, it broke its own windows on stage. For years, people debated whether it was a stroke of genius or a massive design mistake. The bare stainless steel was meant to be indestructible, but in the real world, it proved to be a magnet for fingerprints, smudges, and even surface rust. It was a vehicle that felt unfinished, like a raw prototype that somehow made it to the production line. This RNG widebody version feels like the realization of what the Cybertruck was always meant to be. It takes that raw, low-poly video game aesthetic and refines it into something truly premium and custom. It fixes the awkward proportions by widening the track and lowering the center of gravity. It hides the problematic stainless steel under a flawless gloss black finish. In many ways, this aftermarket creation stays truer to the cyberpunk heritage of the original concept than the actual factory model does. It is a perfect example of how the automotive aftermarket can take a controversial canvas and turn it into an undeniable masterpiece. I want to pause for a second and ask you all a question. When you look at this gloss black widebody monster, what is the first word that comes to your mind? Is it beautiful? Is it terrifying? Is it ridiculous? Drop a comment down below right now and let me know, because I genuinely love reading how different people react to this design. Some of you watching right now probably hate it, and that is completely okay. But for those of you who love bold, unapologetic design, I know you are drooling over this thing just as much as I am. Now let us talk about what is hiding underneath all that aggressive bodywork. While RNG handles the visual drama, Tesla still provides the heartbeat, and in this case, we are looking at the Cyberbeast powertrain. That means a tri-motor all-wheel drive setup that produces a mind-bending 845 horsepower. Let that sink in for a moment. This is a vehicle that weighs well over 6,000 pounds, yet it has more horsepower than most Italian supercars. It is a level of power that is almost difficult to comprehend until you actually feel it push you back into your seat. In a straight line, the factory Cyberbeast can rocket from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 2.6 seconds. However, we have to be honest about the physics at play with this RNG version. With the added aerodynamic drag of the widebody kit, the massive weight of those custom wheels, and the rolling resistance of those chunky off-road tires, you're probably looking at a 0 to 60 time closer to 3 seconds flat. But let us be real, 3 seconds in a vehicle the size of a small house is still violently fast. It is the kind of acceleration that makes your stomach drop and your passengers scream. That incredible performance comes with a significant trade-off, and that trade-off is range. The standard Cybertruck boasts an estimated range of around 320 miles on a full charge, but aerodynamics are everything when it comes to electric vehicles. Think of it like pushing a sleek dart through the air versus pushing a brick. The factory truck is surprisingly slippery, but this wide-body kit, the front splitter, and those massive tires act like a parachute. Realistically, if you are driving this RNG version daily, you should expect your range to drop significantly, perhaps down to the 240 or 250 mile mark. It is the price you pay for looking this good. So what is it actually like to drive this gloss black tank on public roads? Stepping inside, you are greeted by Tesla's minimalist interior and that controversial squircle steering wheel. The Cybertruck uses a steer-by-wire system, meaning there is no physical mechanical connection between the steering wheel and the front tires. It is all done by computers and electric motors. At low speeds, you barely have to turn the wheel to make a sharp turn, which is incredibly helpful when trying to maneuver a vehicle that is this incredibly wide. It takes some getting used to, but once you adapt, it feels like playing a video game. Out on the open road, the driving experience is a bizarre mix of serene quiet and brute force. Because it is an EV, there's no engine roar, just the faint, futuristic whine of the electric motors. However, those aggressive off-road tires do introduce a noticeable amount of road noise into the cabin. You can hear the deep treads humming against the asphalt, a constant reminder that you're driving something built for more than just smooth highways. The lowered suspension also changes the ride dynamic. It feels much stiffer and more planted through corners than the stock truck, but you will definitely feel the bumps and potholes a lot more. The most overwhelming sensation when driving the RNG widebody Cybertruck is simply its sheer size. You feel like you are piloting a commercial vessel. The widebody kit adds several inches to the overall width, meaning you take up almost the entire lane. You find yourself constantly checking your side mirrors, terrified of clipping those beautiful, expensive RNG wheels on a curb. Visibility out the back is practically non-existent due to the sloping to no cover, so you rely heavily on the high-definition camera feeds displayed on the massive center screen. It is a vehicle that demands your full attention every single second you are behind the wheel. Let us talk about the reality of owning this vehicle day to day, because it is not for the faint of heart. First and foremost, you have to be prepared for the attention. Driving this truck is like walking a dinosaur down Main Street. People will stare, people will point, people will pull out their phones and film you at traffic lights. Every time you stop for coffee or go to the grocery store, you will be approached by strangers asking questions. If you are an introvert who just wants to blend in and go about your day, this is absolutely the worst vehicle you could possibly buy. And there's the maintenance of that exterior. Gloss black is arguably the most beautiful color on a car when it is perfectly clean, but it is an absolute nightmare to keep it that way. Every single speck of dust, every water spot, every fingerprint shows up instantly. If you own this truck, you're going to become very good friends with your local detailer, where you will be spending hours in your driveway with microfiber towels and quick detailer spray. And let us not forget the anxiety of parking. Finding a parking spot wide enough to accommodate those massive flared fenders without getting door-dinged is a daily puzzle. From a practical standpoint, the widebody kit also compromises some of the truck's original utility. While you still have the massive bed in the back, reaching over those wide fenders to grab something out of the bed is much more difficult. And while those off-road tires look amazing, they are expensive to replace and will wear out much faster on the pavement than standard street tires. You also have to factor in the increased charging frequency due to the reduced aerodynamic efficiency. Living with this truck requires compromises, patience, and a healthy bank account. I want to talk directly to the parents watching this right now, or anyone who uses their vehicle for daily family duties. Could you imagine doing the school drop-off in this thing? Imagine pulling up to the elementary school line in a lowered, gloss black widebody tank. Your kids would either think you're the coolest superhero in the world, or they would be absolutely mortified. It is a vehicle that completely redefines the concept of a family hauler. Would you daily drive this to the grocery store? Let me know in the comments. So we come to the final verdict. Who is the 2026 RNG widebody Tesla Cybertruck actually for? It is for the extrovert. It is for the person who views their vehicle not just as transportation, but as an extension of their personality, a piece of rolling modern art. It is for the enthusiast who respects the engineering of an electric vehicle, but refuses to compromise on aggressive head-turning style. If you want to make a statement, if you want to own the road and command attention everywhere you go, there is simply nothing else on the market that does it quite like this. On the flip side, who should look elsewhere? If you are a pragmatist, if you value maximum electric range, ease of parking, and low-maintenance ownership, run far away from this truck. The standard Cybertruck is already a handful, and this RNG version amplifies all of its challenging traits. It is too wide, it is too flashy, and it requires too much upkeep for the average driver. It is a vehicle that demands sacrifices in the name of style, and not everyone is willing to make those sacrifices for the sake of looking cool. But at the end of the day, the automotive world needs vehicles exactly like this. We need the crazy, the absurd, the beautifully impractical. The RNG widebody Cybertruck proves that the electric future does not have to be boring, silent, and shaped like a jelly bean. It can be dark, it can be aggressive, and it can make your heart race just by looking at it parked in a warehouse. It is a triumph of aftermarket imagination, taking a controversial design and turning it into something undeniably magnetic. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible walk around and review. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the dark side of the electric revolution, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. This has been Crownline Reviews, reminding you that life is simply too short to drive boring cars. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next one.